Welcome to the deep dive. Okay, you've handed us quite the stack of sources today, all focused on, well, a pretty intense topic.
Intense is right.
Yeah, the hyper-competitive race to secure prime commercial retail space. We're talking shopping centers specifically.
Exactly. High-demand spots.
And look, we're not here for the standard business 101 advice. Our mission for you listening is really to pull out the non-obvious stuff.
The actionable strategies.
Precisely. The secrets, maybe, that top brokers and really prepared tenants use to lock down those great locations. Yeah, the ones that disappear before most people even know they're up for grabs.
And to really get those strategies, you first have to appreciate the sheer pressure in the market right now. It is fundamentally a landlord's game.
Okay.
I mean, look at the numbers. Q1 2025, the national retail vacancy rate here in the U.S., it stood at just 4.8%.
Wow, 4.8. That sounds incredibly tight.
It is. It's barely above the lowest level ever recorded. It's quite something.
So what's behind that? Why is it so tight?
Well, it boils down to limited inventory, mainly. Since 2019, the total amount of retail space across the U.S., it's only increased by about 2%, just 2.
Only 2%? That's almost nothing over, what, 6 years?
Exactly. So you've got the stalled supply, but tenant demand, that's held up. It's sustained.
So classic supply and demand imbalance.
Absolutely. And in this kind of market, success isn't just about flashing the most cash or offering the highest rent. It's really about preparation. It's about speed. And crucially, positioning yourself as the most reliable strategic partner for that landlord.
Okay, let's unpack that pressure cooker market you mentioned. It's not just competitive, it's fast, like really fast.
Astonishingly fast.
The sources we looked at, they paint this picture where desirable space doesn't just move quickly, it just evaporates. I mean, look at the absorption data. 8 out of 10 vacancies filled within 6 months.
Right, which sounds fast already, but...
But get this, nearly half of all vacancies are gone within 3 months. 90 days.
90 days. Think about that. If you're a tenant and you're not ready to make a serious move almost immediately when a good space becomes available, or maybe even before it officially lists,
You're basically fighting for the leftovers.
you're already behind the curve. Exactly.
So what's driving that speed? What forces are fueling this demand?
Well, there are some big shifts happening. Significant consumer and geographical shifts mean the demand is highly targeted. It's not just everywhere.
Okay, like what?
First, the shift toward experience. Consumers, they're prioritizing convenience, sure, but also experiential shopping. That draws huge crowds to certain well-positioned centers.
Which makes the spaces near those strong anchor tenants incredibly valuable.
Like gold. They become golden. And second, we're definitely seeing a sustained suburban retail boom.
Still, even post-pandemic shifts.
Absolutely. Tenant interest in suburban hubs is high. It's a direct result of population shifts, yes, but also the persistence of hybrid work models.
Ah, right.
Yeah.
People are around their homes more during the week.
Exactly. So those neighborhood shopping centers become critical trade corridors. They're just used more often.
And it's interesting, the sources mentioned how retailers are adapting their actual store sizes, their footprints, to match this.
Right. That's a key point. They aren't all looking for massive big box stores anymore. Many are actually targeting smaller, more flexible footprints.
Why smaller?
Because it supports their omni-channel operations. Think about kiosks or pop-up shops or even just really strategically located smaller inline stores.
Okay.
These can function as local delivery hubs or click-and-collect points or micro-fulfillment centers. They're optimizing for speed for that last-mile delivery, not just displaying tons of product.
So if we connect this back to you, the listener, if the market's moving this fast and it's this specific, relying on broad national trends or averages seems, well, almost useless.
It really is. The takeaway has to be hyper-localize your research. Your strategy must be dictated by the specific local vacancy rates, the actual rent patterns in that neighborhood, and, maybe most importantly, the existing tenant mix.
Why the tenant mix specifically?
Because that mix tells you who the current customers are. It's a huge clue about the customer base you'd be stepping into, the one you'd inherit, basically.
Okay, that makes sense. So this relentless pressure, this speed, it leads us straight into our first big strategy, tenant readiness.
Yes.
And we need to get beyond just saying, be ready. What are the specifics? How do the top tenants prepare so they can act, not just react?
Okay, the core lesson here, I think, is that any delay signals risk to the landlord.
Risk is the enemy.
Always. Especially when they likely have, say, 10 other good candidates waiting. Landlords filter first for readiness, for reliability, for someone who can perform without issues.
We know tenants need their financials updated. That's basic. But what's the specific speed differentiator you see? Is it about having digital copies ready, pre-signed documents, a stellar credit score?
It's really about verifiable speed and organization. It signals you won't need hand-holding. Landlords often use those first crucial, maybe 48 to 72 hours just to weed people out based on financial completeness.
So if you take 3 days just getting your proof of funds together,
You're out, or you're way behind. You're likely competing for second or third choice spaces by then. The best candidates. They have their financial and legal documents bundled, integrated into a single, clean digital packet.
ready to send instantly.
Instantly. And often it's already been vetted by their attorney before they even seriously look at a specific space.
Wow, okay. Proactive.
Very. And then beyond the money, the clarity of the business plan is huge. It has to assure the landlord, yes, of your long-term viability, but also, crucially, that you're going to be a good neighbor, that you won't create conflict.
So the plan needs to show how you fit in.
Exactly. Specifically address how you complement their existing tenants, especially the anchors. You're essentially selling the landlord on how you'll help make their entire center healthier and more valuable.
And that ties into defining needs, right? Everyone knows they need a certain square footage, but what else?
Right. The high-performing tenants, they clearly define all their requirements up front. Visibility needs, accessibility, maybe proximity to certain other stores, but they also distinguish clearly between the must-haves and the nice-to-haves.
Before they even tour the property.
Ideally, yes, because that ability to maybe be flexible on a nice-to-have, that instantly speeds up decision-making. It reduces friction later in negotiations.
Okay, so if preparation gets you ready for the race, the next step is getting the right driver. Strategy 2, building the broker advantage.
Yes, using an exclusive broker, especially one who really knows the retail center market, that is often the absolute difference maker today.
Why exclusive?
Because their value goes way beyond just pulling up a list of available spaces from some database. Their real value is rooted in, well, proprietary access and what I'd call relationship capital.
But hold on, if the market's this tight, isn't a good broker just sort of an expensive necessity? How do you know if broker has the right network, not just a big one?
That's a critical question. You absolutely must vet them. You need a broker who specializes in shopping centers in your target area, not just general commercial real estate.
Specialization matters.
Immensely. You need someone with strong existing relationships with the specific property managers and developers who control those high demand centers you want to be in.
Because that's where the real edge comes from.
That's the edge. That network gives them access to upcoming vacancies maybe weeks before they're public, or off-market deals that never hit the databases.
The hidden inventory.
Exactly. And this network leverage also means the broker understands the landlord's preferences. What lease terms do they usually push for? What types of tenants do they secretly prioritize? What non-monetary value are they looking for?
So they can tailor the approach.
Perfectly. Position the tenant way ahead of the competition right from the initial contact.
And the broker is also crunching the market intelligence for you, right? Taking that high-level data, vacancy rates, foot traffic patterns, and applying it specifically.
Yes, using it to identify not just any available unit, but the best specific unit that truly aligns with your brand, your customer base, your growth plans.
So the broker is almost like a professional shield, presenting the tenant in the best possible light, making them look credible, agile, essential when the landlord's looking for easy ways to say no.
That's a great way to put it, a professional shield. It's an investment, really, in minimizing the landlord's perceived risk and maximizing the speed of the whole transaction.
Okay, so we're prepared. We've got expert advocacy with the broker. Let's move to strategy 3, professional positioning and winning the offer. When a landlord has multiple good prepared candidates, how do you actually stand out? How do you become the preferred tenant?
Right. So winning here is about more than just the rent number. It's heavily about reliability and that strategic fit we mentioned.
Okay.
Professionalism, responding quickly, meeting deadlines, that's table stakes, it's assumed. The real insight from the sources is how transparency, especially with financials, is used strategically.
How?
Providing comprehensive, clean financial documents very early on, sometimes proactively, before they even ask, that dramatically reduces the landlord's perceived risk. Instantly.
Sets you apart from those still scrambling.
Immediately. But the real leverage, that comes from quantifying your strategic fit, making it tangible.
Okay, how do you actually prove strategic fit? Is it just saying, our customers shop here, Or is it more specific, like demographic data? Showing projected sales.
Oh, it's much more specific. The best brokers, they often include a kind of mini market study with the initial proposal.
Really?
Yes.
Oh.
They demonstrate the potential for cross-pollination. They show how your customer acquisition cost will be lower because you'll draw from the center's existing traffic. But even more importantly, how your presence is likely to increase traffic or sales for the existing tenants, especially the anchors.
So you quantify the value you bring to them.
Precisely. You frame yourself not just as a rent-paying tenant, but as a quantifiable partner in the center's success. That completely reframes the application.
That makes a huge difference. Okay, then we get to the negotiation phase itself. Winning offers need more than just a good number.
They need clarity paired with strategic flexibility. You absolutely have to know your non-negotiables, like your absolute maximum sustainable rent.
Your walkaway point.
Your walkaway point. But equally important is identifying areas where you can be flexible. Maybe you can adjust the lease commencement date slightly, offer a bit longer lease term, perhaps reduce the request for tenant improvement money.
Things that help the landlord achieve their goals too.
Exactly. Landlords really value tenants who approach negotiations looking for solutions, not just problems. It signals an easier long-term relationship and helps expedite the agreement.
And the offer itself needs to reflect that understanding.
Right. The final offer structure, guided by the broker, has to be compelling enough to win in a competitive situation, but also sustainable for your business long-term. It's a careful balance. But getting that balance right is what accelerates the deal towards signing.
Which brings us to the final, maybe most tense part, finalizing the lease. Part 5, that inherent conflict between moving fast and being incredibly careful with the details.
Yeah, that tension is real. You absolutely cannot afford to slow down the momentum once an offer is accepted in principle. But you also absolutely cannot skip the detailed legal review.
So how do you manage both?
Coordination is key. Your broker, your attorney, your internal team, they need to be working in parallel, not sequentially. The legal review should start the moment you have a letter of intent or term sheet running alongside finalizing other points.
And that legal scrutiny is just non-negotiable.
Non-negotiable. Your attorney is crucial for digging into those complex clauses that can save you or sink you later.
Like, what specifically should people watch for?
Oh, things like co-tenancy clauses, what happens if that big anchor tenant leaves, exclusivity clauses, can a direct competitor move in next door, and the permitted use clause, making sure it's broad enough for your operations now and maybe slightly in the future. Skipping this stuff, it's just inviting hidden problems down the road.
And the broker's role here, they're still involved.
Oh, critically. The broker acts as the facilitator, the grease in the wheels, to maintain that speed. They're not just passing messages. They're clarifying complex lease terms, managing deposit requirements, coordinating the handover of the space.
And their relationships help again here.
Hugely. Because they often have established relationships with the landlord's lawyers and management team, they can frequently accelerate approvals or smooth over minor disagreements much faster than a tenant could alone. They prevent small issues from becoming major delays.
So securing the space really requires this blend then. The legal precision for protection and the broker's advocacy and relationships to get it finalized quickly.
That's it exactly. It's about combining that meticulous preparation and legal diligence with market speed and savvy relationship management. That's how you win today.
So to sum up for everyone listening, it seems like success boils down to 3 pillars: deep preparation, relentless speed, and leveraging trusted advisors, especially that specialist broker.
I think that's right. Winning in this kind of market, it's fundamentally less about just finding a location, they're scarce, and much more about demonstrating unequivocally that you are the most reliable, the most strategic, and the most professional partner that landlord could possibly choose.
That idea of partnership really resonates. It's not just a transaction.
Not anymore. Not in these prime spots.
Okay, so thinking about that partnership and how landlords are really valuing alignment with their long-term vision for their center, here's a final thought for you to maybe chew on.
Okay.
If landlords want stability and tenants who plan for the long haul, how might a retailer's exit strategy, their clear, well-defined plan for maybe eventually relocating or selling the business years down the line, how could that actually become a positive negotiating point during the initial lease application? Could showing you've planned the end game actually help you win the space at the beginning?
That's an interesting angle. Think about the entire life cycle.
Something to consider. Thank you for diving deep with us today into the art and science of securing prime retail space.
My pleasure. It's a fascinating market.
It certainly is. We'll catch you next time on The Deep Dive.
Get in touch with Allies Commercial Realty at info@alliescommercialrealty.com to find your ally in commercial real estate.